Can solar cut it? We need energy. And more than that, we love energy. It does work for us, and the more work it does for us, the less work we need to do to maintain a certain lifestyle. A level of luxury, as it were. And why not? Life should be nice. Surely the whole reason for existence is to experience, and so therefore the more you can have conscious control over what fills your time, the better. No one wants to work in an unsatisfying job for any longer than they need to, in order that they have sufficient means to meet certain requirements. Just like no one wants to spend 2 hours a day fetching water, which still needs to be boiled before use. They prefer to turn on the tap. And most people do not want to tend acres of different crops with animals and then harvest the crops and slaughter the animals, foraging and hunting to supplement their diet, close to starving in bad winters. They prefer the supermarket, the large-scale farm and the industrial processing lines of the abattoir with their cost-effective, high-speed conveyor belt butchery. All these tasks that our ancestors undertook, and many more, are fueled by energy. So when we say we need to change the whole system supplying it, people understandably have concerns. Primarily, what is it going to cost? And will it do the job as well as the old way? Especially when we talk about renewables, as we all know the sun does not always shine and the wind does not always blow. And then there are the arguments that solar cannot possibly do the job and it will be too expensive. So, can solar cut it? Let us look at it from the ground up. The top of the Earth's atmosphere receives around 1,366 watts per metre squared at 1 atmosphere, or to put it another way, a total of 173,000 terawatts, trillions of watts, of solar energy strikes the Earth continuously. That is more than 10,000 times the world's total energy use, and that energy is completely renewable, at least for the lifetime of the sun. That is a lot, and more than enough for us. Now, obviously, all is not equal here. In the UK, for example, Edinburgh gets an average annual figure of 94 watts per metre squared of solar power, whilst in London the figure is 109 watts per metre squared. Honolulu, on the other hand, gets twice as much at 248. Okay, so let's consider the whole globe, because future energy networks will span countries, continents and the oceans. More about that in a bit. I will consider this using solar panels with a very low efficiency of about 16%. New results in this year have pushed the record to 47.1%, but that was in a lab. The standard systems available in the real world vary from about 16% at the very lowest up to around 27% in more expensive systems. If we only used the lowest quality we currently have now to supply the world, we would need to cover an area somewhere in the region of 367 by 367 kilometres, or 135,000 square kilometres, and actually that is not all that much. A great deal will probably cover most structures in built-up areas, but anyway, let me give it some perspective. The Saharan Desert is 9 million square kilometres. Highways in just the United States, well, they cover 94,000 square kilometres. Indeed, even golf courses take up in excess of 40,000 square kilometres. And one USA-based study concluded that the land required would be smaller than the current existing footprint of the present system. And when you consider mining, drilling, transportation, processing, storage, distribution and sales to customers, It's actually not all that surprising. There is absolutely no problem in capturing the energy. The next problems are manufacturing them, making sure everywhere has enough energy when it's needed, which needs some form of storage or transmission system, and finally the ability to replace very dense energy fuels in highly demanding roles, such as long distance flights and global shipping systems. There are no great environmental concerns from the acquisition of raw materials, with Tesla even demonstrating a waste-free, clean system for lithium mining, and the manufacturing process, if powered with clean energy and proper waste treatment is carried out, poses far less of an impact than the current systems. As always, we just need to enforce certain standards on corporations. So then, storage. Now, there are so many options opening up for storage all the time now, and we just need a mix of quick response options to level out peaks and troughs. And they can be stored anywhere. If space is an issue, they can even be underground. So storage is not a problem. And as you will remember from my recent video on energy, the balance between capacity to create energy and the storage of it appear as two lines on a graph, and the sweet spot varies from region to region, but we generally need between 2 and 4 times average requirements. If this is combined with a global energy cable network, then this can easily be balanced out for everywhere, and this is not science fiction. The UK has multiple cables between itself and neighbours via the ocean, and China has covered vast distances to link solar farms with demand. So it is more than possible. The latest project is Xlink's Morocco-UK Power Project, a solar and wind farm that, with batteries, will supply the UK. It is so regular that it is considered as a baseload supply and is capable of supplying 8% of the UK electricity needs. The company will be building a factory to make the underwater cable, as their needs are greater than the current world supply can manage, even over many years. The factory will vastly increase global capacity, which in itself will not just lower the cost but also speed technological innovation, making their use far more common. So, that is another problem solved. Right, we know we can harvest enough energy, store enough energy, and transfer enough energy to vastly exceed what we need now and what we will need for many decades to come and beyond, especially as new generation technologies will always be superseding what we are using today. So where are the best places to generate? Who is going to be the net energy provider for the world then? Now, that is an interesting question, because the best countries are currently some of the most opposed to change. Let me show you. The top 5 places with the most sunlight by country capture 36% of the sun that hits the land's surface, not including the sea. And within that, it is Australia who comes first with 7.5%, and then the USA comes in at 5th with 6%. The other 3 are Russia, which has a huge vacant landmass, but it is in the northern regions, so the light is less intense and this requires more coverage of panels. Then 3rd is China, and 4th is Brazil, but Brazil has large areas of rainforest that it would be better to keep. So Australia's continued love of the coal industry is really just a waste of money, resources, and people chasing after assets that will only become stranded and liabilities on the balance sheet as time progresses. The smart investment money is already jumping ship, With COP26 shining a light on financing like never before, it is highly likely that many more will be looking to get out before it totally collapses and they lose everything. Another point to note is that although Africa did not feature on that list, this is purely because many of the countries are small in terms of area. They do, however, have in most cases abundant sun and the resources required, as can be seen with the UK and Morocco project. The new energy exporters and beneficiaries will be the ones who innovate, invest and grow now, before everyone else. They will secure their future needs and polish the technologies ready for when the rest of the world catches up, because it is inevitable. I think what we can now say without a shadow of a doubt is that yes, solar can step up to the mark. And when you combine it with wind, tidal, wave and the many other technologies that are around, it will allow us an abundant energy future with a price everyone can afford. The message is clear, as is the direction we need to take. We already know where we are going, so the faster we get the ship turning, the quicker we reach our destination. So hop on board and spread the word. Those first to step up will be the long-term beneficiaries, and that is not a lie. Financial studies just released show that. Here's to the future, and if you like that, hit the like button, and if you want to know more, click subscribe and leave your thoughts below. Thank you for dropping by.